Good morning, Lake Norman. This is Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam, and I am here with you for About Town. And we're on a good route today throughout our community. Actually, this is all about the faith community here in the town of Cornelius. That is such a critically important segment to what goes on, the good of what goes on in our community. It's a fantastic opportunity to talk a little bit more in depth about what our faith communities are all about and what they mean to our great town. They've got a significant role they play in really our quality of life and making us a better place to live. And I'm very, very proud of all of them for what they contribute. And I think you'll be surprised at some of the things that maybe we take for granted just a little bit that goes on within our faith communities and our churches here in town. And I want you to hear a little bit about that. And at the particularly at the end of our program today, we'll be talking a little bit more directly about a great event that's coming up, and that is the Community Thanksgiving service that will take place this coming Sunday at 6 p.m. at the Kane Center for the Arts, a new venue for this wonderful, wonderful program. And that makes it, that says it all about community. We're not going into any one of our churches, but we're worshiping together as a community in the Kane Center for the Arts. And I'm so glad that worked out to not only show off this great facility to our community, but to turn it into a worshipful experience, to thank God for all the great things that go on here in the town of Cornelius and in our state and in our country and in our world even. So I want to tell you who I've got with me today. I think you'll be impressed with this lineup. First of all, I have an individual that's a little bit new to town, and that's Ashley Bonfiglio, who's a missions project leader at Grace Covenant Church. Ashley, welcome.
Thank you. Thank
so
you for
glad
having
to
me.
have you here today. And next would be Reverend David Judge, who is the pastor of the Cornelius First Baptist Church. And welcome, David. You've been with me before on some topics, and thank you for coming back. We
Yes, sir.
appreciate your involvement.
Pleasure.
And then we also have one of the oldest churches in town represented today, and that is Mount Zion United Methodist Church. And we have Reverend Jonathan Marlowe with us today, who is the co-senior pastor at Mount Zion. Welcome, Jonathan.
Thank you. It's great to be with you.
So that's our lineup for today. And, we talk in the town of Cornelius about the Cornelius Way. Well, that's really tied in so closely to our faith communities. I'm so proud of many of the things that have occurred within the faith community that makes us better. And Ashley, I really go back to many years ago, right about the time I became mayor about 6 years ago, to the creation of the Neighborhood Care Center.
Mm-hmm.
I think Michelle Hoverson was in charge of that, as she was an
Yep.
associate at Grace at that point in time. And let's start with that.
Sure.
Grace has a rich history in our town. It goes back to, I can remember the Cornelius Tabernacle,
Mm-hmm.
which is, I don't think it's actually standing anymore, but it's certainly near where the Habitat building is. That's where Grace Covenant, I think, cut its teeth and got its start. So, and I remember the Clantons,
Mm-hmm.
S.K. Clanton and Emily,
Yes.
very well as I was growing up. They're fine, fine people,
Mm-hmm.
but Grace Covenant has some deep roots in our community. But traveling back through time just a little bit, tell us a little bit about the roots of your mission programs that go on at Grace Covenant.
Yeah, so it kind of is like the Neighborhood Care Center. That did start around 2016. We started looking around it in 2014 with it starting up in 2016. And it's kind of the idea of getting into our neighborhoods and really getting to know the people that we're serving. So the Neighborhood Care Center does a lot of programs where it comes from for ESL, food, the Manna for Life. Around this time, they're doing Thanksgiving food drives. They're doing Angel Tree, which I know they partner with some churches around here too. But For Grace, we've actually kind of shifted our missions this year. We have recently, or in the past, we've done Joyland, where it's been people coming to church, and able to shop for toys. And we are really focusing on going deeper and creating relationships, the idea of going deeper instead of broader. So we have worked and identified some neighborhoods that we're going to be moving into to kind of stand in the gap, where food insecurity may be an issue. So instead of Thanksgiving meals this year, we're doing pantry staples.
Wow.
So we're going to be dropping pantry staples at each home in 2 separate communities, and kind of getting to know them and start building those relationships in hopes to be back there for Christmas. And we're partnering with the Cornelius Police Department at Christmas to come out to those neighborhoods and, invite them to Christmas Eve, but also be there to provide gifts, gift cards, and just build those relationships where it may be more community cleanup in the spring, bringing job fairs. Going back to the neighborhood care center, there's hopes that we're going to have more building projects in the future to bring more career development. We talked about auto mechanics coming in, so that we can have more job training for the people in the Smithville area and beyond. So that's kind of where we're headed.
That's fantastic, and another great ministry you folks do. And actually, all the churches represented here with me today have some segment of an education program going on in their facility, at least, and I want us to all talk about that as well. I know you've got a great school at Grace Covenant,
we do.
In addition to that, and it's growing.
Yes, it is. It has seen growth this year. Right now we're K through 8th, and our new head of school, Rich Landis, is doing a phenomenal job. The teachers there, so our classroom are growing. Our enrollment has grown, so we're excited and hopeful for the future, for what God has for the future for that school.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
One of my most wonderful things that I am able to do as mayor of this community is visit our schools, and I'm generally invited at least annually to come by Grace and read with the students or read to the students, and they make me feel like a rock star in there. It's incredible. So it's just such a nice experience. It is such a good school, and I think that is one of those items that certainly does contribute to the quality of life here in our community and makes us a better place to live.
Yep.
So,
and it's fun to see the integration between the school and the church, especially on the mission side. So how we're integrating what we're doing on the church side in missions with the school. So it's fun. My kids are there, so I'm sure they'll make you feel like a rock star when you come.
Oh, wow. I can't wait. I hope I get an invitation back this coming year as well. So that's fantastic. So moving around here, First Baptist Church of Cornelius has been around quite a while too.
Since 1904.
1904. That is 1 year prior to the formation and organization of the town of Cornelius.
That is correct.
So you do go back a ways, and I remember growing up there on Catawba Avenue, spent a lot of time with my grandmothers. My mom worked, and First Baptist has always been there. It really has always been there as a great church. I think in my early years I probably went to Bible school there. I went to Bible school in all the churches. That's what we did back then for entertainment. So I remember that well. So, things are certainly robust at First Baptist. David, how long have you been there now?
I have been there 8 years now. And so sitting around the table, I'm one of the oldest pastors in the community at this point.
Pretty incredible. So, Bill, are we okay? We'll be right back in just a minute. Thanks, everybody.
Until noon, the last weekend of the year for Davidson Farmers Market. For more info, visit davidsonfarmersmarket.org. Hit songs from the 1950s will have you wanting to boogie all night long. The Winter Dance Party, this Saturday night, Charles Mack Citizen Center. Doors open at 6. For more info and to purchase tickets, visit ourtownstage.com. Mike Ferris and the Fortunate Few are coming to Kane Center for the Arts this Saturday. Mike Ferris is a Dove Award winning artist. Americana, rock, blues, and gospel. Come enjoy a fun night of great music. Mike Ferris and the Fortunate Few this Saturday. Doors open at 7 p.m. kanearts.org. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
The Renaissance Festival is back Saturdays and Sundays now through November 19th. A non-stop outdoor family adventure. Huzzah! Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com while supplies last.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. Mostly sunny skies out there today. That afternoon high is going to be up near 70 degrees with a calm wind around 6 miles per hour. Heading into the evening, we'll have some partly cloudy skies. That low temperature won't be that bad tonight. We'll only get down around 48 degrees. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Your home for non-stop Christmas music. Starting at 12 a.m. Thanksgiving Day.
About Town continues now. Here's your host, Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam, on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
76 years strong, and we're still the one. WSIC. News. Talk. Now.
Hello again, Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam here with you. We are about town today talking about our faith communities. So we're making our rounds here with some of the most active churches here in town. All of our churches are active in some manner or form. The three that are represented today are very active here and make such contributions to the quality of life in our community. And we've talked about some of the activities in the mission field at Grace Covenant Church, and we're moving around now to some more specifics going on at First Baptist of Cornelius with Reverend Judge. So, David, tell us a little bit about, we talked a little bit in the previous segment about the beginnings of First Baptist Church here in Cornelius. It used to be Cornelius Baptist Church. And so tell us what all's going there. You've been in town, I think you said 6 years.
8 years.
8 years. Okay, I shorted you a little bit.
Yes, sir.
So, that's certainly long enough to get to know this community. So, you've been an integral part of some really, really good things. And so tell us about First Baptist and what you have going on there. We know about your Early Scholars program, but we want you to elaborate on that as well.
Sure, of course. So thank you. So mentioning that we got started in 1904, coming next year, it's going to be our 120th anniversary. And so our theme for next year is going to be 12 decades of service. And so each month, we're going to take the first 10 years of the church and then the second 10 years and down the line and really educate the church about where we've been, what we've done, where we're going, that sort of thing. When I came in, if you remember, I came to the town board.
You did. That was amazing.
And I pledged that I would get our church involved in the community, and I believe we've done that. And a couple of things that we've done. First Baptist is a small church from the standpoint of membership. And so our concern always had been, well, we'd like to do that, but we don't have the people and we don't have the money. And so my response was, well, let's look at what we do have. We have a fabulous property and we have lots of space. So let's get other people to utilize our space and help the community. And so consequently, we now have introduced 2 new congregations. One is the Kachin Baptist Church. So they're from Myanmar. They speak a different language than us, have a different culture than us. We have Revive Iglesia Cristiana, which is Spanish speaking. And of course, they have a different culture, different language. And then we have First Baptist Church Cornelius, which is English. And so we like to say we've got 3 churches, all Baptist, all, preaching the gospel in 3 different languages, 3 different cultures, but one Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And so that was really big. The other thing, you mentioned the Cornelius Early Scholars. We host Cornelius Early Scholars. Cornelius Early Scholars is a separate standalone organization, but First Baptist Church of Cornelius is the host. So we provide them free space, but they have their own board, their own employees, their own finances, and everything else. But that's been a real big win. And the other thing that we started doing recently is with the Community Pregnancy Center of Lake Norman. They have a mobile van for ultrasounds and pregnancy testing, and they reached out to us and they said, hey, could we park our van in your parking lot? And we said, of course. And so they're there every week providing free services to women who may need those services.
That's fantastic. I know you've been quite involved with our schools in town too, as in Cornelius Elementary mainly. I know you have young children as well.
Yeah, so I have 4 children in CMS, 2 at Bailey Middle, 2 at Cornelius Elementary. And yeah, I got very involved with Cornelius Elementary, being that's right down the street from the church. And Jessica Holbrook, who's the principal there, had become a good friend of mine. As a matter of fact, yesterday was her birthday. And that was where I got the idea for Cornelius Early Scholars, because it was Jessica who said to me that 1 out of 4 children who present to Cornelius Elementary for kindergarten are unprepared for kindergarten. They can't count to 20, they've never held a book, they can't recite the ABCs, things that we think are just fundamental, these children have never been exposed to. And that was really the genesis of Cornelius Early Scholars. Along with that, we like to provide snacks to Cornelius Elementary, so we take snacks over there all the time for the kids. We know the guidance counselor is over there, and we just do what we can to help the school.
Well, that is absolutely fantastic. I know First Baptist was instrumental back during the days of COVID of supplying some needs to our kids, and so it's just some great community service going on there. Did I remember that right?
Yeah, you remember that right. And actually, I'm glad you mentioned it, because it kind of went from my mind. COVID is in the rearview mirror at this point.
We're trying to push that back, right?
But yeah, we had the testing facilities out there. We had the vaccination clinics at First Baptist Church. Again, back to the philosophy of we have space, and if we can just bring other folks in to do that work. During COVID, we had the Camp Advantage, if you recall, where we invited kids who didn't have internet at home or didn't have a safe environment at home, but they had to do remote learning. They came to First Baptist, went to our fellowship hall. We had 30 kids every day.
Wow. Yeah, that's quite a good story to tell. And so it's just one thing after another that First Baptist has been very integral in our community to support and be involved with. And so I know you're committed to that, David.
Amen.
And you've really taken them to a new level in that particular category. Another church, probably the oldest church in one of the oldest, I guess Mount Zion and Bethel are about the same age. Mount Zion United Methodist had its roots in and around where the Magnolia community is today, but later grew where it currently is off of Zion Street, near Antiquity, I guess adjacent to Antiquity, a huge neighborhood that just popped up in and around Mount Zion over the years. But I think the formation of the church was what, Jonathan?
Yeah, Mount Zion started in 1827, and since 1827, we've had a strong Methodist Christian presence in Cornelius, and so we're looking forward to a 200th anniversary celebration coming up in probably less than 3 years. So that's going to be a great event, and we're going to have a lot of programs and activities related to that 200th anniversary. But we're proud of that history going back to 1827.
Yeah, as the church has evolved and grown, what do you see as I know there's some connections to the United Methodist Church that are very involved in the mission activities, but what has Mount Zion taken on itself to make this a better community?
Yeah, you mentioned some of the mission projects that we're involved in Methodism and beyond, and especially also in our local community here in Cornelius. Internationally, we participate in things like UMCOR, which is the United Methodist Committee on Relief, so that when things happen around the world where there are refugees in Ukraine or somewhere else, we can immediately give to that, and the next day people start being ministered to in different parts of the world. So we're glad to participate in things like that. We're also involved locally in a number of things to help make the community a better place to live, and that's what we're all about. We also have a preschool, our Sunshine Preschool, SON, SHINE, Sunshine Preschool, where we have 2-year-olds to pre-K. And it's just a joy for me. I get to participate a little bit in that. I do chapel with them about once a week. And just getting the chance to tell them stories about Jesus and how much God loves them is just such a privilege and a joy to be able to be with those children. And we have scholarships available in that program to reach out to all kinds of kids throughout the community to help them if they need financial aid with that as well. One of the things that we've started recently is we have a counseling center at Mount Zion. It's called Sanctuary Counseling Center, and we have staff who provide Christian counseling or any kind of counseling for people who need them, whether that's related to stress with families, marriages, children, jobs, or just the stress of being in our world in the year 2023. We do have a counseling center that helps lots of people in those areas, and that's also a sliding scale where no one's turned away for financial reasons. I think about one of the programs that we've started recently just here locally in the community, and we've done it with actually in partnership with the Neighborhood Care Center, is our Loads of Love program that our youth are involved in. And we go to some of the local laundromats and on weekends, like Saturdays, for example, and the folks who come there to get their laundry done. And I didn't realize it until recently, but it's quite expensive to go to a laundromat and get your laundry done. And so we help people with, giving away quarters and change and helping them do their laundry. But while we're doing that, we're also forming relationships with people, getting to know them, listening to their stories, providing a lunch for them, having lunch with them, getting to know them. So those are just some of the things that we've been doing recently, and it's a wonderful church to be a part of, and we find that being the Church of Jesus in a way that's humble and in a way that's inviting is inspiring for folks.
It certainly is, and I know certainly that we do a lot with the at Mount Zion with the Neighborhood Care Center.
Mm-hmm.
What's so really cool about that, Ashley, is that it's become a really ecumenical arrangement throughout our community. I know Grace Covenant put up the money to get it started, but it's grown so much, and I had heard a number recently of how many churches are involved with that, but I want to talk about that just a little bit more, because it's been a wonderful connection throughout our community to do so much good. So that and Ada Jenkins as well, and it's amazing to me how well the Neighborhood Care Center and Ada Jenkins, correspond the services that they both provide. They work together beautifully, and that's what it's all about, just doing good for this great community. So I'm just excited about that. We are in such a, I've been in elected office now for about 10 years, and we're in a real different, better place. Not that I can take credit for any of that, but it's just heartwarming to see that actually taking place. So this is Mayor Woody Washam, and we are about town today, and we will be right back in one moment with the Faith Communities of Cornelius.
About Town with Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam will return after this short break on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Folks, you know Randy Marion sells vehicles the King of Price way, but did you know our service department? We service vehicles the King of Price way. We sell tires, we sell brakes, we sell batteries, we sell the maintenance. We help you keep your vehicle on the road safe, ready to drive. Whatever the season is, Randy Marion service departments have you covered. Come see us today, because folks, again, you know we sell the King of Price way, and we do service the King of Price way.
King of Price, RandyMarionStatesville.com.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. Mostly sunny skies out there today. That afternoon high is going to be up near 70 degrees with a calm wind around 6 miles per hour. Heading into the evening, we'll have some partly cloudy skies. That low temperature won't be that bad tonight. We'll only get down around 48 degrees. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Got a Toyota? Get it serviced at Quality Car Care of Statesville. Looking for a great pre-owned vehicle? Quality Car Care has you covered at 2040 Old Mountain Road. Visit QualityCarCareStatesville.com.
In life, we plan for many important things. Weddings, our children's education, retirement. A celebration of life is really no different. Planning and paying for your life celebration in advance will give you and your family valuable peace of mind. We'll help you take care of every detail with professionalism and compassion. We're Bunch Johnson Funeral Home. Find us at DignityMemorial.com.
Here's a Wisdom Hour nugget. Creation is from God, but Satan says evolution is correct. Our scripture says God created everything in 1 week. A day comes from the earth spinning on its axis. A month comes from a lunar cycle. A year comes from the earth going around the sun one time. The week comes from God. Where does the seventh day of the week come from? It comes from God also. And God said it's the Sabbath. Has that been counterfeited? 98% of all languages in the world, Sabbath and Saturday is the same word. And then Jesus, when he went to the cross on Good Friday. The next day was the Sabbath. He rested in the grave. And then he rose the first of the week. So from the beginning of the Bible to the end of the Bible, the Sabbath was the seventh day of the week. Do we follow Satan's counterfeit or God's original? I choose, thus saith the Lord. You've been listening to a wisdom.
In today's world, hard workers are hard to come by. But luckily, for the ones around here, Nelson Royals Work and Western Wear has you covered. From head to toe, trusted brands like Ariat, Durango, Wrangler, Carhartt, and more. Nelson Royals Work and Western Wear has been helping the hard workers of Mooresville since 1967. Stop by Nelson Royals today. In the heart of Mooresville, Highway 150, just look for the Giant Horse. Or browse the full inventory at NelsonRoyals.com.
Buying gifts in this economy? Forget about it. Introducing the 12 Days of Christmas giveaway. For your chance to win, register online at WSICnews.com/holiday. Kitchen essentials, tech toys, kids gifts, a mountain getaway, and much, much more. Oh, yeah. WSIC's 12 Days of Christmas giveaway. Winners will be drawn each weekday morning on Good Morning LKN starting December 7th through December 22nd.
Now more About Town with Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Good morning again. Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam here, and we are about town with our faith communities, our wonderful faith communities throughout this great town of Cornelius. They've always been important to our town, but never more important than they are today. Our churches have grown. They have evolved. Churches are a little bit different now. I can remember back in the day there used to be a lot of turf between churches. You know, you were cool if you went to this church or that church or whatever. And certain segments thought that the rich people went here and other people went there and, you know, all over the map. I just don't see that anymore. So we're all Christians, and I think we come together just to simply worship God in the right kind of spirit now. And you know, I guess that leads me to one of the priorities that I have as mayor of Cornelius is working regionally with our neighbors, if you will. And I'm betting our churches in this community do the same thing as far as communicating with each other and working with each other, and not putting up those turf battles, if you will, between each other as well, because we're all about the same thing, and it's a lot of good that's created out of that. So, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about that, Jonathan?
I think it's wonderful when churches can participate together and cooperate with one another on various items related to the community. I think when the church is offering itself to the community in a way of humble service of Jesus, that draws people. People are not drawn to arrogance or to being puffed up or to self-promotion, but people are genuinely drawn to humble acts of kindness and service. And when the churches here in the Cornelius area are really good at doing that together. And I think it's really one of the strengths of our community.
Well, you work, I know all of our churches work quite closely with the youth of this community as well. So I can recall a couple confirmation classes around where you really expose the kids to a lot of the different churches and religions that go on in the world.
We do that when we have confirmation classes, usually for 8th grade, and these are young people who are just learning about the faith. A lot of times they've been baptized as children, but they are learning to articulate the faith and accept the faith for themselves. And as we do that with them, one of the ways that we do that is by exposing them to other churches. And we, like this past year, we have gone to Hunter's Chapel, United Methodist Church, which is a predominantly African-American church. And we took our confirmation class to worship with them one Sunday. We took our confirmation class to worship at a Greek Orthodox church one Sunday morning. We went to a synagogue on one Friday night, just as a way of teaching our children about the deepest roots of our own faith, but also learning about other churches and the strengths that they bring and what we can learn from them. So that's been a wonderful opportunity. Also this year, Mount Zion went in together with Hunter's Chapel, United Methodist, and Inclusion Community, and went on a Deep South pilgrimage.
Yes.
And we went to places, we chartered a bus, we went to Selma, Alabama, we went to Montgomery, Alabama, we went to Birmingham, Alabama, and just retraced a lot of the footsteps of the civil rights movement and learned in a really impactful way more about Martin Luther King, saw his churches, his parsonage where he lived in, where he received bomb threats and other things. But anyway, that was a real pilgrimage of learning about our history as a nation, and really brought those three churches together in a way that helped, recommit us to the cause of racial justice and reconciliation.
That's awesome. It really is. So, Pastor David, how do you feel about how our churches here in this community work for the good of the community together?
There's absolute collaboration amongst the churches.
Right.
And, one of the things that I find most comforting for myself as a pastor is the monthly pastor's luncheon that is held at Grace Covenant on the third Wednesday, generally, of the month. But there's always 10 or 12 pastors there. We get together, we talk about things that pastors talk about. Pastors have their own little issues that they have to deal with, and you always get the question, well, who pastors the pastor? Right? Well, we pastor each other. So if I've got a problem that I'm struggling with, I can talk to Zach, or I can talk to Mike Moses at Lake Forest, or one of those other folks. And it's really nice to have that fellowship amongst pastors, because we do have our own unique little concerns.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and it sounds like a good setting to talk about some best practices too that go on.
Very much. That's a big part of the conversation.
Yeah, I can certainly envision that. So Ashley, what's your feeling about that here in our community as far as churches working together on things? And
I think it's extremely important, especially in the outreach area. You can't. Not one church can do everything on their own, so it's great, especially exactly where we've done our backpack outreach for a couple years. And this year we were able to bring in different churches, and it's not necessarily like, hey, just serve. It's more of, do you have people that you know? And the backpack outreach, we were able to hand out 400 backpacks to people in the community, full of school supplies to get the kids ready for school. So we had a couple different churches come in, and it was, hey, let's expose everybody to the church. And the goal in my mind is not to get people plugged into our church. The goal is just to get them plugged in somewhere, whether it's your church, whether it's, Mount Zion, whether it's Grace Covenant. But, people aren't really going to get to know who Jesus is until they feel the love of the churches that we give. So, the collaboration, I don't go to the pastors' luncheons, but we are able to get together on some mission leaders and bounce ideas off, of how are you helping? The idea is to help without hurting, right? So what's making an impact? So how are you guys helping without hurting the community? How are you making that lasting impact that's creating those relationships? And I don't have all the answers, so it's great to be able to talk to people and decide, or talk about, hey, what's working, what's not working? How can we better serve this population? How can we better serve some immigrant populations that are coming in? and to be able to learn about what other churches are doing as well. We have our 11 o'clock service is translated into Spanish.
Mhm.
It's great to know that you guys have the Myanmar coming in too. We just started an international group at our church as well to try to capture more of the people in the community and meet them where they're at.
Wow, that's certainly awesome. One of the other significant organizations that I know several of you support as well is Ada Jenkins Center. And you know what? The statistics that really blows my mind is that 40% of the population that Ada Jenkins serves is from Cornelius. We think of ourselves in some cases as a wealthier community, and we probably are if you take an average of all that. But the fact is, they serve, out of all the people that they serve, 40% of them are from the town of Cornelius. And, how do y'all relate to that? Is it something you can relate to, or do you really see that? I know, David, you probably do based on where you're located and the community that is certainly adjacent to your church.
Yeah, so when we were putting together Cornelius Early Scholars, one of the things was to look at the demographics of Cornelius and those children who were coming to Cornelius Elementary who were unprepared. And I was on a committee with Charlotte-Mecklenburg School System, and Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools breaks down the entire Mecklenburg County into 538 different neighborhoods. And then they rank those neighborhoods based on their socioeconomic status. They put it into thirds. The top third, of course, is the highest, and when you look at the Lake Norman region, we tend to be in that top third. If not the top third, we're definitely in the second third. There's one neighborhood in this Lake Norman area that is in the bottom third, and it is in Cornelius, and it's generally south of Catawba Avenue between 115 and I-77, and it encompasses Smithville and the Mill Village and that area, and we don't think about that so much, that there's that level of poverty in the town of Cornelius, because as you said, we generally think that we're a wealthy neighborhood, and we generally are, but there are those pockets of folks who are in need, and folks like Ada Jenkins, Angels and Sparrows, Neighborhood Care Center, collective churches are there to serve that community.
Yeah, I know that I have a visual from going up here that's changing a little bit, but I can't help but go back to my early days growing up here, whereby just not even a half a block off of Catawba Avenue, you would see blight. I can remember an old rusty trailer park back in there. It was a low income, but it was probably not fit for anybody to live there. It's property's for sale now, so hopefully good things will come about that. And we can all, I know you guys all know about our affordable housing initiative here in the town of Cornelius. That's a serious effort. And, as I move forward with my service here as your mayor, that's going to become an even higher priority to fix that here in a town that has some wealth, but it also has the other side to deal with as well. So it's a great day in Cornelius today. This is Mayor Woody Washam, and you're traveling about town with the faith community. Thanks for listening, and we'll be right back with our final segment.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Santa's coming to town. Come out to Birkdale Village from 2 to 7 p.m. this Saturday, the 18th. WSIC will be broadcasting live from the event. Activity Row, Birkdale on Ice, beer garden, dance performances, and the tree lighting parade. Dance away the end of the night with live music this Saturday. The fun begins at 2 p.m. and the tree lighting ceremony starts at 6. For more info, visit birkdalevillage.com. It is the last weekend of the season for the Davidson Farmers Market. Come out and enjoy the wonderful local vendors. Saturday from 9 until noon, the last weekend of the year for Davidson Farmers Market. For more info, visit davidsonfarmersmarket.org. Hit songs from the 1950s will have you wanting to boogie all night long. The Winter Dance Party this Saturday night. Charles Mack Citizen Center. Doors open at 6. For more info and to purchase tickets, visit ourtownstage.com. Mike Ferris and the Fortunate Few are coming to Kane Center for the Arts this Saturday. Mike Ferris is a Dove Award-winning artist. Americana, rock, blues, and gospel. Come enjoy a fun night of great music. Mike Ferris and the Fortunate Few this Saturday. Doors open at 7 p.m. kanearts.org. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
The Renaissance Festival is back Saturdays and Sundays now through November 19th. Jousting nights, mermaids, fairies, dragons. Oh my! Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com while supplies last.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. Mostly sunny skies out there today. That afternoon high is going to be up near 70 degrees with a calm wind around 6 miles per hour. Heading into the evening, we'll have some partly cloudy skies. That low temperature won't be that bad tonight. We'll only get down around 48 degrees. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Santa's coming.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid. Merry Christmas.
Non-stop Christmas music, starting at 12 a.m. on Thanksgiving Day.
It's About Town with Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Good morning again, Lake Norman. This is Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam, and we're back for our final segment of About Town. It's a great program today, and I'm glad you're listening out there. But this is about the faith community with some of our leaders in that wonderful segment of our community, which really makes us a better place to live. It certainly enhances our quality of life here and meets so many needs that wouldn't otherwise be met through the good things that the government, town government in particular, we just can't do everything, and we have to have this supplement coming in from a lot of directions, including our faith community. And we depend on you guys, just so you know that. We really do. Certainly I do. I can't speak for all the mayors in the past, but certainly I do. And we're looking for more great things in the future. So speaking of the future, let's talk about that just briefly, and then we're going to give you just a complete rundown of what to expect at the community Thanksgiving services that are coming up here in a few days, actually. So what can we do better in the faith community to support the town that your churches are sitting in and are serving here for the gospel? What can we all do better to make Cornelius yet a better place? We mentioned affordable housing, and I bet that's on all of your lists to think about, as far as what we can do better. When 90% of our citizens that work here can't afford to live here, that's indicative of a problem in my mind. And we just have to do better to get a better balance of that particular aspect of our community. So I know that's one thing that would probably be on your list for things that we could improve on. I don't know if you want to elaborate on that, Jonathan. What do you think about that? You've been involved a little bit with our effort.
I have been, and that's just crucial. We want to be able to have housing in our area that is affordable for our teachers, for our police department, for our firefighters. We want those people not only to serve our community, but feel like they are really, truly, deeply connected to the community. And one way to do that is by actually living in the community. And, when they have to live outside of our community in order to find a place that's affordable to them, that's a problem. And so that's certainly something that everyone should be interested in and making that a top priority. As far as the faith community is concerned, I think one of the ways that we can help is just by listening and helping connect the needs of the people with the leadership in the town to see what kind of policies that can be put in place to help the the people feel more integrated into the community, where no one's isolated, where everybody's involved, where everybody feels like they belong. That's the kind of place that we want Cornelius to be. That's the Cornelius way, as I think of it.
Absolutely. That's a good example. Pastor David.
Yeah, so I think it's a gospel issue. Honestly, it's a heart issue. We're talking about people who are the least among our brethren, right? And my concern for the town is too often I'll hear folks say, not in my backyard, right? Or we've got enough people here in Cornelius, we don't need any more housing, right?
You're
That
so
sort of thing.
right. I hear that.
And I bet you have. And but the reality is, 60% of the traffic in Cornelius, and that's what most people are concerned about is traffic. It's not Cornelius residents; it's people passing through Cornelius.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's true. And so new residential doesn't bring more traffic. It actually cuts the traffic down because people aren't traveling here and there. And this idea that Cornelius is for the wealthy, which is somewhat out there, it needs to be for everybody. And so we need to have affordable housing. I like, starter home housing is my preferred term because that sounds better, right? I want my kids to stay in Cornelius, but my children, when they get to the age, aren't going to be able to afford to live in Cornelius and they're going to move away. So why do we leave that legacy to go? Why not make the housing where they can start their families here as well?
And we need jobs for them.
And we need jobs for them.
Absolutely need jobs for them to want to stay here or be able to stay here. So that's certainly a priority of mine as well. Ashley, what do you think about that?
I echo the sentiments of both Jonathan and David. I do think too, job training.
Yes.
Better, more accessible job training. There's, for example, Feed NC up in Mooresville has some
Yes.
job development training up there, and Neighborhood Care Center has some here. So that's why hopefully in the future we're looking to build and expand on job training. Affordable housing is a major issue where starter homes are not available. But how can we get those people into those starter homes? So what can we start supplementing, to help